Hey everyone, I'm sure you know that today a lot of people were waiting to see what announcements were going to be made regarding the new DCU. James Gunn did release a video on Twitter giving kind of a overview of the first chapter of the DC universe that is going to be somewhat of a reboot under he and Peter Safran's direction. They are co-chairs. And I'm sure you've probably seen a lot of the stuff floating around about it. They did have like a quiet press event yesterday to tell the press about it. And then today the embargo lifted at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So I have seen it and I have seen the announcements that were made. Let's watch the video James Gunn shared and then we'll kind of, share my thoughts.
James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So Peter and I, along Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about, a very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
Okay, so kind of a lot to unpack there. As far as just, it's like a lot of new information. I didn't expect there to be more than a handful of projects to be announced, of course, because you're not just going to come out and release, 15 different things the first time they share anything about the new slate. But let's just go over some of the, highlights and things to pay attention to. Of course, one of the bigger announcements that people were expecting was a Superman movie. That one does have a release date right now, which he mentioned in the video of July 11th, 2025. We'll see if that release date sticks, but that is the release date as of right now. And then the other one that has a release date as of right now is the Batman Part 2, but that is an Elseworlds movie, which is set for October 3rd, 2025. So, like he mentioned in the video, things that are separate from the main DCU continuity have an Elseworlds label attached to them. From Creature Commandos, I kind of get Suicide Squad vibes from that. Just based on the art, on the image that they showed there. Seems like they will be continuing to work with Viola Davis as Amanda Waller for her own TV series. She was Amanda Waller in James Gunn's version of Suicide Squad as well, so that's not really any surprise there. The Green Lanterns. People have been waiting so long to have a Green Lantern show, movie, anything, and this is yet another announcement for a Green Lantern show. Hopefully this one comes to fruition so fans can actually have a live action Green Lantern show. And I think this one maybe kind of serves what the fans have been wanting a little bit more. It's Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and that's what fans have kind of just been wanting. Just make it mostly about them. Yes, you can have other lanterns in the show, but focus on them and have them kind of like patrolling, space and like, doing what they do is like what he described in the video. I think fans will be, happy if that show if it comes to fruition. I think that's kind of more along the lines of what fans have been asking for as far as a Green Lantern show. So I think that's a positive thing. Also, Paradise Lost Wonder Woman TV series. I do see it being, I think Themyscira is a cool world to have a series about. We didn't get to see too much of it live action because in the first Wonder Woman movie, they left Themyscira very quickly. And then you saw a little bit of it in 84, and thankfully we got to see more of it in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Zack did want her to go back to Themyscira, so if his story would have continued, we would have seen more of Themyscira and the Amazons. But I do think that is a world that a series serves well, in my opinion, because there's a lot of cool characters you can have. I think just the Amazons in general and that whole world within DC is a good world to have for a series. And then I guess we'll see how Wonder Woman gets integrated into the live action movie universe. But I guess maybe they're going to start there with the TV series, since they're all going to be connected, movies and TV and animation as well. Like he mentioned with Creature Commandos, it's going to start out as animation, and then the same people are going to play them as live action versions of their characters. I think Swamp Thing will be another thing that fans might be, a little bit more interested in, because the show actually got pretty good reception from the fans, but then it was canceled right away and didn't really go any farther, and people wanted to see it come back. So maybe they'll, hopefully they'll do it justice for the fans that wanted to see it come back, and it's going to be a movie this time, not just a TV series. So the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, I think that's also one that people might be a little bit more interested in, because it's a different story for Supergirl, might be a little bit more serious tone and a different point of view for Supergirl's story. Did expect them to have a Booster Gold movie or series in this universe. A lot of fans, I think, are not really surprised by that. A lot of people expect Booster Gold to be the kind of character that James Gunn would want in his live action, or not just live action, in his DC universe. Okay, so there is something here, I guess, coming from the press that were there yesterday regarding the Superman movie. Peter Safran said it focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. Superman represents truth, justice, and the American way. He is kindness in a world that thinks of kindness as old-fashioned. So that's a little bit more detail on the Superman Legacy movie. They didn't really mention anything in the video that James Gunn released, besides that he's writing the script. James Gunn also said, "I can't wait to introduce our version of Superman, who audiences will be able to follow and get to know across films, movies, animation, and gaming." He said that Henry is not their Superman for a number of reasons. Like I said, I do think there will be some that are interesting, like the Supergirl story, having a Themysciran-based TV series, and the Green Lantern series, I think, probably is more along the lines of what fans have been wanting from a Green Lantern series. The Batman one, having Damian Wayne and as Batman, as Bruce's son, and that is something we have not seen live action before, so I do think people will be interested to see that as well. Superman, I'm just sad. Really, I'm sad. Like, I just really wanted Henry Cavill to get another movie. Not necessarily in James Gunn's universe. I just wanted him to be able to have another movie with his version of Superman that he wanted to tell, a story that he wanted to tell with his Superman. And I really wanted to see, I really wanted that. But there are a few things I think will be interesting from this announcement here. Yeah, I just wanted to cover kind of some of the highlights that were shared today from that people were kind of anticipating. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts. And I'm sure you guys have been seeing a lot of stuff on social media from this today. But thank you guys for the support. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. and check out the channel for anything you might have missed recently. See you soon.